lot of interesting classes at UT. We got a sneak peek at one that is getting in the Valentine's Day spirit.
The spring season is in full swing and two of UT's best teams are gearing up for the run of a lifetime.
And a group of students got the experience of a lifetime in New Orleans. A shocking update on the Gay Street Bridge maintenance. In a press conference Wednesday, Knoxville Mayor Indian Kincannon announced the bridge will not be reopening to cars. Thanks for joining for TVC News. I'm Maddie Romack.
And I'm Grayson Thatcher. The Gay Street Bridge used to be a shortcut for a lot of students living in South Knoxville, but it was shut down over the summer after a maintenance check found it to be unstable. The check came right before the big baseball homecoming parade, and the bridge has been shut down ever since with no update until now. Kincannon announced that the bridge will open around the end of the year and will only be open to pedestrians, cyclists, emergency vehicles, and certain approved CAT buses through a gated system. The mayor also revealed that the bridge will have to be completely torn down within the next 5 to 10 years. It's still unclear if another bridge will replace it, but the Gay Street Bridge has been a staple of Knoxville since 1898.
U.S. Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy announced that I-40 will be reopening on March 1st to all traffic. Junior Holland Hines is from South Carolina and says his commute will return to normal.
Now that the drive is a little easier, I can afford to just go home on a weekend.
The interstate has been closed since September due to damage from a Hurricane Helene, and travelers were rerouted through Atlanta. Full restoration of the interstate is estimated to take multiple years. If you have not submitted your application for federal student aid this year, time is running out.
Students need to submit their FAFSA by March 3rd to be considered for the FAFSA priority filing deadline. Meeting this deadline ensures that students will be considered for the maximum amount of financial aid and that they qualify for. The FAFSA needs to be completed every academic year. For this year, students will need to have their 2023 taxes. Do not forget to file your FAFSA by March 3rd to make sure you qualify to receive all your financial aid.
TVC weather specialist Shane Roberts joins us now to talk about this excessive rainfall we've been having. Shane?
Thanks, guys. Before we get into our weekend forecast, let's talk about flash flooding. It's been a gloomy week as it's been continuously raining since Tuesday. The National Weather Service had issued a flood watch for the region, but has since been allowed to expire. Rain totals have exceeded to 2 inches and no damage from floods have been recorded here in Knoxville. Unfortunately, the National Weather Service has put Knoxville in a 2 out of 4 slight risk of excessive rainfall through Saturday into Sunday morning. This means that within 25 miles of any given point, there is at least a 15% chance of flash flooding to occur. Here are some precautions to help you and others in case of a flash flood. First and foremost, turn around and don't drown. Rapid flowing streams or ditches can sweep you off your feet and your vehicle downstream. Make sure to remain alert if you live in flood-prone areas, move to higher ground if flooding occurs, and make sure to use caution at night. Additionally, stay out of flood-prone areas as water may still be rising swiftly, and do not allow children to play in or around flowing water as floodwaters can hide rocks, trees, and debris. We'll talk about our weekend forecast later in the show. Back to you guys.
Thanks, Shane. Love is in the air, but boy is it expensive. One class here at UT is choosing one lucky couple to plan and execute their wedding day come November 6, 2025.
I sat down with one of the professors who helps execute the big day. Getting engaged can be a couple's most memorable moment, but then comes the wedding planning and the money. Stephanie Benjamin, an associate professor in the Retail, Hospitality, and Tourism Management Department at UT, is working with Associate Professor Nancy Barger to cut the cost for one couple in Tennessee.
Our students are not only organizing it, funding it, executing it, but they're seeing in real life the joy and experience that this type of event can bring.
Benjamin and Barger started with the online wedding planning class.
We were thinking, this would be really cool if we were able to actually execute and create a wedding for a couple.
That dream came true and is known as the Blissful Wish. A biannual class in 2025 will be the second wedding planned by the program. In 7 months from now, a group of students will be walking up these steps. In into this building to plan a couple's dream wedding. The group of 12 to 15 students will work with community partners to give one wedding with limited costs to a lucky couple.
They absolutely loved it. They were a sweet couple.
Students will plan all of the details
From the beginning to end, and they're going to see all of the craziness that comes from and blows up with weddings.
The class also partners with the Culinary Institute and Creamery at UT to create and prepare the food for the wedding.
It's a great way for our community to really show up.
From classroom to venue, it's all a blissful wish. In Knoxville, Grayson Thatcher, Vol News. To take the class, you have to be a retail, hospitality, and tourism management major and have taken the online wedding planning class.
But if you're interested, couple applications open today. Just look up Blissful Wish Wedding 2025 UTK. On this day, for most of us, our Valentine's plans might look like a fun date night or a Galentine's celebration, with the exception of one UT student.
Daniel Hauhofer is a UT grad student here on exchange, leaving his long-term girlfriend back home in Austria. Despite the distance and despite the time difference, he still plans to make Valentine's Day a special one for her. And although he won't be able to...
And I was like, okay.
Hauhofer thought the next best thing. Hauhofer and his girlfriend...
Valentine's Day, I set up for siblings to go. What else we got?
Hauhofer and his girlfriend have been dating for over a year and a half. According to him, this is his first year spent with an actual Valentine and one he really wanted to make special for her, even from a country away.
The Super Bowl may have been last week, but our Vols went all the way to New Orleans to work with the fan experience team.
Our very own Caitlin Kirkpatrick talked to the students who made the trip to New Orleans. Caitlin?
Thanks, guys. The Haslam College of Business recently announced that they would take 10 students and their advisor to Super Bowl 59 to work for the Big Orange Combine. I spoke with their advisor and a student to hear about the experience.
So the Big Orange Combine is a wonderful opportunity to attend the largest sporting event there is and also see all aspects of business. It shows them how you can work hard, network, and take the opportunity to maybe network into a position that would be a dream for you.
Jada Walker is using this experience for networking opportunities in New Orleans.
It's definitely important for me to network with those in the sports industry, but also just pay attention to the advice they have for me.
Debbie Mackey says this opportunity is more than just attending a game.
And there's media everywhere, there's opportunities to be able to network with people, to see how business comes together.
For Walker, she was excited to not only make connections, but feel the game day energy.
I'm really excited to experience the game day environment of the Super Bowl. Obviously, we go to SEC school, so it's big energy, but I know that's going to be like 10 times as energetic.
That energy helped the students in networking and their fan experience work they did in New Orleans.
Getting to see that behind the scenes is very important to me.
The group of students spent game day inside the Super Bowl campus helping out with hospitality experiences to over 5,000 fans.
When we attend, people know, oh wow, Vols are at the Super Bowl, things like that. Just showing that when you come to school here, there will be so many opportunities for all the students.
I know I would have wanted to be in their shoes. How about you guys?
I would have too. Thanks, Caitlin.
The Black Issues Conference is an annual event focusing on the issues affecting the Black community. This year they brought in Black History Month with their 20th anniversary.
Our Alexis Brunson was at the celebration, ringing in this special milestone.
The Black Issues Conference happens every year.
My first time was last year, and I really liked it the first time.
Bringing in people from the Knoxville community, other universities, alumni, and students, serving a different purpose for every attendee.
So really no connection, but trying to make connections to the university.
From community building to education.
I'm just ready to just listen to what they have to say and just take literally whatever I can take from it.
And fostering conversations.
I just really like the conversation, I just really like listening to the issues because, usually I don't hear about them all the time.
But this year, another issue is at the forefront of many minds.
Helping become woke, which seems to be a taboo word over the last 14 days. So definitely needed in this community.
With many presenters and attendees expressing worry in response to the current climate.
You know, with everything that's going on in the world, like, it's just a really good idea to just, educate ourselves.
And while it isn't the main issue the conference focused on, attendees do appreciate having that space.
It's nice to attend an event that is catered to African Americans in the community, that is so well organized and runs like a well-oiled machine.
A space that doesn't plan on leaving anytime soon. In Knoxville, Alexis Brunson, Vol News.
The date for the next Black Issues Conference has already been set for Saturday, 17th, 2026. The National Panhellenic Council here on campus celebrates Black History Month and the culture throughout Black History Month.
February marks Black History Month, and the National Panhellenic Council sororities and fraternities on campus host educational and community service events to honor and celebrate Black history and culture.
I think the Divine Nine, for a lot of the members of different organizations, is really just like a safe space for, I guess, people of color to just come together and, I guess, do good for the community.
For more information on events or to get involved, visit studentlife.utk.edu/go-greek/NPHC. A couple of TVC alumni have been recognized with an Emmy nomination.
I'm excited to be able to do this. These people got what they deserve, and these kids are fired up to celebrate with their people.
Back in November, a group of WVLT employees were nominated for a special event coverage Emmy for their coverage of the Baseball National Championship Parade. Two of these nominees are UT alumni and my mentors, Will Dowling and Savannah Chandler. Our Carson Lowry sat down with Dowling to talk about what this Emmy nomination means to him.
The Emmy means everything to us. It means all the hard work that we put in was worth it. It was a hot day. There was so much going on with the parade, all the team coming in, all the crowd coming into downtown Knoxville. Phone reception was crazy, but the product that we put out on the air was worth it.
The nominees will head to the ceremony this weekend, and we wish them the best of luck and hope to see them bring home a win. Valentine's Day is today, February 14th, and the holiday of love sparks conversation around relationships.
Rocky Top Recovery partnered up with the College of Health and Education and Wellness for Love You, a brunch. The event had a waffle bar, but they did not last long. The waffles ran out in nearly 30 minutes. They had peer support and also a booth to talk about healthy relationships. A Rocky Top ambassador says it's important to share these resources for healthy relationships during Valentine's Day.
For Valentine's Day, we always want to give Vols the resources that we have available to us to give them the tools to make healthy and informed decisions regarding their relationships.
The next event for Rocky Top Recovery will be Vol Bodies at T-Rex on February 26 from 10 to 12. When we get back, we'll take a look at how your Tennessee athletics are doing.
That's right, softball and baseball both hit the mounds as they look forward to great seasons.
And an update on how your basketball teams are doing as we get closer to March.
Whether it's our stories, the warmth of our laugh, or our family's secret sauce, we all bring something different to the table. So make some space. The power of connection is waiting right outside your comfort zone. Learn how you can help strengthen your community at belongingbeginswithus.org/teamup.
Right there. Wait. Use the shovel and bucket of water, remember? Drown, stir, drown, feel. Then make sure it's cool.
Where'd you learn that?
SmokeyBear.com. Brushed up on some tips before we left. Don't want to start a wildfire, right?
Only you can prevent wildfires.
We are the Tennessee Volunteers. People who create connections, push boundaries, do the research that changes lives. We've got world-class academics and championship athletics. To be the best, you gotta learn from the best. And if you wanna lead, you gotta light the way. We've got what it takes. It takes a volunteer.
Welcome back. Vol sports are in full swing.
We're going to toss it over to our sports reporters Griffin Hadley and Luke Lamry for your Rocky Top Sports Report.
Thanks, guys. Hello and welcome back to the Rocky Top Sports Report. I'm Griffin Hadley.
And I'm Luke Lamry, bringing you up to date on all things sports here on Rocky Top. Let's get started with some hoops.
Let's do it. The Tennessee men's basketball team traveled to Lexington, Kentucky on Tuesday, falling to the Wildcats 75-64. Coming off of a knee injury, Zakai Ziegler has been a bright spot for the Vols, scoring 55 points in his last 3 games. Once again, poor three-point shooting by the Vols as they went for 3 for 18 from beyond the arc. Tennessee is back at home tomorrow where they will face the Vanderbilt Commodores in attempts to avenge their 1-point loss in January.
After taking a loss to LSU on Sunday, the Tennessee Lady Vols basketball team took care of business at home against Auburn. The Lady Vols balanced an offensive attack and put up 99, defeating the Tigers by a staggering 38 points for a final score of 99-61. Jewel Spear led the Lady Vols in scoring with 17, but 5 Lady Vols scored in double figures. The Lady Vols are back in action on Sunday against Ole Miss.
Switching it over to Diamond Sports, baseball season is back for the Tennessee Volunteers, and it includes some last-minute question marks. New addition to the team, UNC transfer Alberto Ozuna filed a lawsuit yesterday morning, and it was denied for immediate eligibility last night.
Osuna played 1 year at the junior college level before transferring to North Carolina, playing 3 seasons with the Tar Heels. Osuna is arguing he should not be penalized a year of eligibility for a season of JUCO baseball. Here's what head coach Tony Vitello had to say about the reasons for adding Osuna to the squad.
You know, most kids talk pro ball or individual first. If you've ever visited with him, once the portal situation started with him, every comment seems to center, as it relates to his future or his last year of eligibility, seems to center around winning and team.
Volunteer baseball opens up their season tonight over at Lindsey Nelson Stadium in the first of 3 games against Hofstra University.
On the softball diamond, the Lady Vols are on a hot streak after dropping their season opener to number 17 ranked Nebraska. Tennessee has won 5 straight games by an average of 8.5 runs. The Lady Vols are back in action this weekend, starting with a doubleheader at McNeese State today.
The Tennessee swimming and diving team now has their sights set on the 2025 SEC Championships that begin on Tuesday and run through next Saturday. Both the men's and women's teams are gearing up for the most competitive conference meet in the country. The women's team is trying to build on a second-place finish from last year, and the men are looking to spring back into the top 4. A number of Vols are looking to defend individual titles as well, including senior Jordan Crooks, who is looking to become the first swimmer in SEC history to win 4 straight titles in the 50-yard freestyle.
The Tennessee track team is splitting up all across the East Coast for several different indoor meets taking place this weekend. Tennessee will send their sprinters and field athletes to the Tiger Paw Invitational at Clemson University on Friday and Saturday. Tennessee's distance runners will head all the way up to Boston for the David Hemery Valentine Invitational at Boston University, while another group of sprinters is teaming up with some of the distance crew at the Music City Challenge at Vanderbilt University. In other terms of collegiate athletics, the Department of Education has revoked Title IX guidance on NIL and athlete pay. This means that colleges can allocate money to sports of their choice, likely indicating a higher revenue displacement in sports like football and basketball, and a lack thereof in smaller sports such as volleyball and track.
As the settlement case continues to unfold, Vol News will keep you updated on everything NIL and more.
That's all we have for this edition of the Rocky Top Sports Report.
Thanks for listening. Now let's send it back to the desk for more updates.
Thanks, guys.
When we get back, we take a special look at a project.
The Media Center recently released a documentary focused on familiar face in sports.
And a new magazine is hitting the racks. We take a look at the Ablaze launch party.
Whether it's our stories, the warmth of our laugh, or our family's secret sauce. We all bring something different to the table. So make some space. The power of connection is waiting right outside your comfort zone. Learn how you can help strengthen your community at belongingbeginswithus.org/teamup.
Be right there. Wait. Use the shovel and bucket of water, remember? Drown, stir, drown, feel. Then make sure it's cool.
Where'd you learn that?
SmokeyBear.com. Brushed up on some tips before we left. Don't want to start a wildfire, right?
Only you can prevent wildfires.
We are the Tennessee Volunteers. People who create connections, push boundaries, do the research that changes lives. We've got world-class academics and championship athletics. To be the best, you gotta learn from the best. And if you wanna lead, you gotta light the way. We've got what it takes. It takes a volunteer.
Hey Vols, let's talk about our weekend weather forecast. This week has been pretty gloomy, and thankfully today will give us a much needed break from the rain. Today we'll reach a high of 48 degrees and a low of 36 tonight with overcast conditions. We might see some breaks in the clouds, giving us a potential warm welcome of sunshine in the afternoon hours. Unfortunately, as we move on to Saturday, expect to see showers again as a cold front will pass through, bringing another potential flood risk with it. Expect highs up to 57 degrees with a low of 36 in the early morning hours. Don't be surprised if you hear a rumble or two throughout the day. Sunday will end our weekend with rain in the morning hours and overcast conditions for the remainder of the day. Temperatures will rapidly cool from a high of 60 down to a low of 30 by Sunday night. That's all the weather I have for you this week, Vols. Back to you guys.
Thanks, Shane.
This semester, I have had the privilege of working with Amber, a talented local TV host on Living East Tennessee who was recently honored with the University of Tennessee's Volunteer 40 Under 40 Award. I sat down with Amber to hear her story as a Tennessee volunteer.
2025 Volunteer 40 Under 40 Award recipient Amberlyn Carroll, host of Living East Tennessee, stays true to her roots as a proud University of Tennessee graduate. Her deep love for her alma mater shines through every part of her story.
I remember my dad had a conversation with him on the phone, and he said, "You're going to sit in that student section at UT at Neyland." He said, "You're going to call me Monday and tell me you're transferring." And I gave him a call Monday, and he was like, "You're going to UT, aren't you?" And I was like, "Absolutely."
When Amber received the Volunteer 40 Under 40 Award, she did not expect it.
I opened the email, and I thought I didn't get it. And I thought I was like, "Oh, sorry."
Once it all clicked, tears of joy and nostalgia filled her eyes as she looked back on her journey as a volunteer.
But seeing that was so impactful for me because the University of Tennessee has been a part of my life.
Her emotional tie to the university grows as she remembers her brother through their shared love of UT.
The last memories I have of my brother, one of my favorites, is him singing Rocky Top. And so that was kind of what brought me back to that. It was very special.
As she continues to grow in her career, Amber remains dedicated to her top priority, her community.
My why is this community in Knoxville.
Amber's colleague Emily Briggs shares a favorite memory from one of their projects.
We got to go and film at Kern's Food Hall, and I didn't know how well she knew everyone over there, and it's just because she gets out into the community and she goes and visits all of these places just on her own time.
Emily said that Amber always brings the volunteer spirit to work.
As far as like the UT community goes, she makes sure that we're so in touch with them.
The recipient of the 40 Under 40 award offers impactful advice to the entire UT community.
Anything that you believe you can do and you can achieve.
Amber's journey proves the strength of the volunteer spirit. In Knoxville, for Vol News, I'm Maddie Romack.
Give it up for Miss Amber Lynn.
I just love Amber. She is incredible. To learn more about her work in Living East Tennessee, check out their Instagram page at LivingETN or visit their website on weight.com.
From a small town in Tennessee to the national championship for Tennessee baseball, students came together to tell the story of one player.
Our Maggie Schwartzing looked into a new film produced by a class in the journalism department that tells the life story of a key player.
Maggie, what is this new film?
Yeah, guys, Hunter is the name of this film, and it was created by 12 students in the Journalism 464 Video Sports Reporting class in the fall semester. The journalism class collaborated with Vol Sports and Land Grant Films to make this documentary on the outfielder with the base bulls. This story goes into detail on how Hunter was born in Alaska and then raised in Huntington, Tennessee, and how he grew up a multiple sport athlete, excelling in sports such as football, and how coming to Tennessee and not being the best player was a hard reality to step into, as he overcame some serious injuries such as a tear in his right shoulder. The lead editor tells me it gives viewers a deeper look into the outfielder's life and how he became a national champion.
To get a better sense, I think, of Hunter's journey and the team as a whole. You know, the Tennessee's baseball team as a whole has really grown a lot in the past few years.
Carter and his team spent over 11 hours conducting in-depth interviews with his family, friends, teammates, and coaches. This project is entirely student-driven and is opening lots of opportunities for the future collaborations for Vol Sports and the Center.
Maggie, how can we watch the film?
This film is now available to watch on the Tennessee Athletics YouTube channel. The film had its big premiere last night at 8 p.m. and it is certainly a must-see if you're a baseball fan or just a Tennessee sports fan in general.
Thanks, Maggie. Our Alexa Durbin sat down with UT swimmer and our very own reporter, Griffin Hadley, as he reflects on the closing of his decade-long career and what he is doing before his upcoming graduation.
I've had swimming as a part of my life pretty much every single day since I was 11. This week I finished up my swimming career and I've been really trying to be a competitive elite swimmer as long as I can remember. And now that I didn't make the conference roster, I had to end my season with a little bit of a shoulder injury because I have been doing this for over a decade constantly, rigorously. And so I have to spend at least 8 weeks out of the water, period, just so that I can finally heal. And I think there is going to be some healing with this process as well when it comes to just getting over the sport and being immersed in it at all times. I'm taking the time right now to kind of make peace with, I've always had the next race, the next meet, the next season. That's gone. I've had my last race. I've had my last season. And so now it's a bittersweet moment because I love it so much and swimming has shaped me into who I am today. But it's also a little sweet because it's the closing of one chapter but the opening of another. Coming to the weight room every day, seeing smiling faces is still something I really enjoy. But now I get to pour into other things. I get to pour into my work, pour into my career that I've worked so hard outside of the pool to establish in the journalism world. Today, instead of having 2 practices, I can be in the weight room in the morning and then transition right to going to a podcast that I have with the boys and then going into my radio show that I have later tonight. And also, in between all of that, I have an internship where I have to edit and do a lot of different things for Omaha Productions, which is a media company that I was lucky enough to start working for this past summer. So my days are looking a little different, but I mean, I've loved my journey here at Tennessee, and I'm super excited for the future because this is a total hinge moment in my life to where this week is the start of a new beginning, and I couldn't be more excited for that.
You can catch up on what Griffin is now up to and follow his journey in journalism on our Instagram at TVC News Now. I had the fun opportunity of following our news director to see what she does every Friday morning.
That's right. Gray McNicol is the Volunteer Channel's news director, executive director, and director. So here's a peek at a Friday morning in her life.
A typical bedtime for me on Thursday nights is 2 a.m. I wake up around 7 and I get to the studio around 8. And then from 8 till 9, I am putting together the last things that need to be put together. I am uploading videos, I'm putting the cameras in place, I'm making sure all of our anchors are ready, that they know what they're going to talk about, that they're prepared, and then any graphics, any mics that need to be checked, all of that is put together. And then we run our first show, which is our class show, UT Today, at 9 o'clock. And then by 10 o'clock, we are typically done. And so from 10 to 11, I am basically doing what I did from 8 to 9 again. So I am uploading video, I'm double checking all the scripts, I'm making sure that all of the anchors are ready to go and that we have everything for our show. And then it's a lot of simple sentences. It's a lot of get the most amount of information in the least amount of words, as least confusing as possible. From around 11 to 12, typically it's going to be 11:30 to 12, we run our show. And so that show typically is about 30 minutes, and it's all in-house produced. It's all of the content is created by our own reporters, and then we have an editorial right after that. And so that editorial typically looks like making sure all the reporters know what stories are going to be on, making sure that we know what the reporters are on, and that we're just ready to hit the ground running come Monday. Yeah, that's my typical Friday morning, which ends around 1 p.m.
We are so grateful to have the leader that we do in Gray and look forward to see what she does in the future. And make sure to reach out to us via email at volnewstvc@gmail.com or DM us on Instagram at TVC News Now and tell us who you might want to follow around in the future.
The University of Tennessee's student-led magazine, Ablaze, has just released a new issue. Our Jackson Berg attended their event to provide you with more information about this issue.
Jackson, how was this event?
Yeah, Grayson, the event was super fun. They had a really great turnout of people for the release of their newest magazine. This issue of Ablaze covered the Y2K era, covering topics such as women's sports and comparing Knoxville back then to what Knoxville is now. Their event was held at South Press Coffee and was full of Y2K energy, as that was the theme for this release event. I spoke with the editor-in-chief of Ablaze about what makes this issue different from their others and what made this team excited for this issue.
It's very different from like our past two prints, which our first two were like kind of outside theme, kind of coloring, and then our last one was more dark academia, so this was really fun and just kind of like childhood.
Ablaze hopes to continue to create change around our campus and are hoping that this issue will be able to make an impact now, but also continue to make an impact for students that want to make their voices heard. In the future, Ablaze hopes to focus on other times and eras or feminist movements that have paved the way for certain movements that are happening in today's society.
Where can students pick up the latest copy?
Yeah, I'm happy you asked. You can find them anywhere around campus, and you'll definitely enjoy the latest edition.
Thanks, Jackson.
That is sadly all the time we have for you today. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm Maddie Romack.
And I'm Grayson Thatcher. Happy Valentine's Day and go
Vols!